best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, oh I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up. Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, oh, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on Fair Play. Fair Play is that program that comes to you every Monday at 12:30 right here on NTA Channel 12. We bring you everything sports. My name is Dianime Uko. I will be doing this as always with my fellow guy, my friend, my brother, John Paul Alumona, and together we'll be doing justice to everything sports. Sports that happened over the weekend, sports that is happening, and of course what we are anticipating in the coming days. Good afternoon, John Paul, and good to have you join.
Good afternoon, Danny. Nice to be here with you.
Okay, so we have a whole lot to talk about, especially as it concerns us here in Nigeria. We will bring you up to speed with the NNL that has just come to an end. We will get to know teams that have qualified. And of course, very quickly, Akwa United will be playing in the NNL next season. That's as sad as it is, but of course that's the reality because they had relegated from the NPFL. That's the top tier league. So we'll be having Akwa United play in the second tier of football in Nigeria. Away from that, we will also bring you up to speed with the Club World Cup, the FIFA Club World Cup. It's currently ongoing. It started on June 14, and so far we've had matches in Group A. We've also had matches in Group B. Some ended in goalless draw. Some we had as much as 10 goals in that particular match. Fortunately, from one side, we'll bring you up to speed with all of this. And the AFCON, we will bring you up to speed also with the groupings. Yes, all of the teams that qualified are already on the line and are preparing for the 2026 AFCON. Nigeria is also on that list. We'll get to know who Nigeria will be playing in AFCON. And of course, the chances they stand not only to qualify from the group stages, but to get all of the way to the final. The last time we played in the final, but then the last time we came back home. When I say we, I mean because, of course, all Nigerians are involved. The last time we got that very coveted trophy was in 2013 when we had the late Stephen Keshi as helmsman, yes, as the coach. And of course, that particular one goal against Burkina Faso by Sondemba, that was all we needed to bring back the trophy. Since then, we were very close again in the last edition in Ivory Coast. But of course, we felt like a pack of cards. We gave everything, but
when it mattered most.
Yes, when it mattered most, we had Côte d'Ivoire. The elephants of Côte d'Ivoire did go home with that particular one. What will happen in 2026? John Paul will bring us up to speed with that. I think that's a good place to begin the conversation.
Okay, yes. It's actually in 2025 because the competition is starting in December 2025 through 2026.
So while you call it 2025, I say it's 2026 because okay, the final.
Yeah, will be in 2026. Yes. Is that correct? In Group A we have Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. In Group B we have Egypt, South Africa, Angola, and Zimbabwe. Then in Group C we have Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. While in Group D we have Senegal, Democratic Republic of Congo, Benin Republic, and Botswana. In Group E, we have Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and Sudan. Then, finally, in Group F, we have Ivory Coast, the Côte d'Ivoire, Elephant of Côte d'Ivoire is called it, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique. Then for Nigeria, we'll have our first match on the 23rd of December 2025. That's on Tuesday. Nigeria will be home against Tanzania. Then we'll play our second match on Saturday, 27th December.
When you say home, recall
no,
play.
No, based on the game position, not in Nigeria.
This tournament will be played in Morocco. It will be hosted by Morocco.
Morocco,
So when we say home, it means we're going to be choosing the jerseys to wear, and of course, who will pass first.
I believe most of our fans, followers, also understand it, because when a team must play at home, others must play away, and that decide the choice of jersey. Not necessarily they are coming at home to play. Okay, Saturday, second match, 27th September, will be Nigeria versus Tunisia. Then on Tuesday, 30th December, they will travel away. They will now play away against Ugandans. So that's the central level.
Okay, so let us consider our opponents in this group. Nigeria will be up against Tanzania, Nigeria will be up against Tunisia, and Nigeria will be up against Uganda. Do we stand a chance, especially against the North African nation?
Yeah, why are you singling out North African nation? Because even those in the Central Africa and the Tanzania East also.
Yeah, the East of Africa.
They also have. I remember what Cape Verde Island did in 2019 Nations Cup. But that's, by the way, on paper, as you said, our greatest opponent will be against the Tunisian North Africans on paper. But in football, you can't predict. Ugandans can pose a big threat.
These guys are very good.
But I must assure you, in
African
football. No, but I can assure you will qualify.
Why I chose Tunisia is the fact that the best football currently in Africa is played in North Africa.
No doubt about that.
That's undisputed.
No, that's the truth.
Away from North Africa, you go to South Africa. I think South Africa is also where they've made a lot of investment in football and other sports. Apart from that, maybe you head to a couple of other countries just here and there.
East Africa and all that.
North Africa specifically, you have Egypt, you have Algeria, you have Tunisia, you have Morocco, and of course Libya is also there.
And even Sudan, they are doing well.
Because you have Nigerians who are playing their trade
there, and they have been paid well.
And they are being paid well. Then you see the fans, you see the fan base of this. If you're playing any match there,
yes, it's the only place that can be comparable is maybe in the northern part of Nigeria, with all sincerity.
Yes.
If you go to maybe the likes of Bauchi, Kano, Plateau, so you see a football stadium.
If you go even to El Kanemi Warriors in Maiduguri,
oh no, the stadium will fill up. But here, even when Akwa United will be playing, they are usually throw their gates open.
I think it's
even with 200, they can. I mean free. But in this northern part of the country, they pay to watch. But here we throw the gate open, yet people not go.
I think it's the culture.
It's really about culture. Look at in the 90s and 80s when we had the National, these Rovers of Calabar. And I think when they were playing, UGS Stadium used to be filled. Then Enugu Rangers, when they are playing in Enugu,
the cathedral.
Yeah, cathedral is always filled to capacity.
I agree. Like I said, it's the culture. Culture also varies, even within a space.
It's transient actually.
Yes, within a space.
And it changes.
You also look at the economy. You see, there is no gainsaying the fact. When the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium was opened in 2014, can you remember how filled that stadium was?
No, it used to be.
Now, why is this so? If the president of this country should come today and there is a match in the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, do you think the stadium will still be as filled as it was in 2014?
No, it will not.
Because the economy has beaten so hard.
Exactly.
Now,
I agree with
there's been a very drastic change.
In fact, that's even the reality. Because some people will tell you, I can't pay from Wanimba, maybe 1,000 to come and watch.
That's simply what it is.
At the end of the day, the team may even
people will have to count their cost. You mentioned about 1,000 naira. If I have 1,000 naira, I will not want to waste it, in quotes.
That's the point.
To pay my way to the stadium. I'd rather want to maybe
buy Gare and Granot and all that.
Beautiful. Maybe pay 200. If I am really interested in watching that match, I'll pay 200 naira and watch it in the viewing center. Then take back my 800 naira home. So you see, these are the things that we look at. Of course, it plays out in sports.
But now, in the northern part of the country, are you saying that maybe they don't consider such calculations. Are we the only one using a calculator?
Okay, so here,
calculator
okay,
money?
this is the difference. If the gate, even if the gate is thrown open,
Yes.
you look at just what we have
Discussed.
discussed. The fact that a lot of persons will not have the money, do not have the economic power
To
to
come to the
that's one.
stadium.
Two, if it's in the north, I mean, there are a lot of northern interests that come to play. So you find buses
That's true. That's true.
in all the nooks and crannies
center
of the area,
in the strategic
to
places
convey
like
people-
Plaza, IBB, and all that.
to convey people
to the
to
stadium
that
free
match
of
center.
charge. I agree.
How many of that happen here in Uyo?
It does not happen.
So you see, that's the very clear difference.
No, it's
so
true. I agree with you.
that was why I chose Tunisia. I
No,
singled
no,
out
yes,
Tunisia
Tunisia,
because
they don't
the
have-
support. Again, this tournament will be hosted in the North African nation of Morocco. So Morocco and Tunisia, these are very close.
Okay, okay,
So
okay. The home support
Of course.
because the Moroccans will support the Tunisians.
Of
now.
course. So what are
Yes.
you expecting? So you'll
Exactly.
expect normally that you'll have a full stadium.
But there's also what we say that these guys are professionals and they don't mind. No, are we just speaking it as English or is it not a reality? For instance, some of them that played in London, this 90,000 capacity in
The Wembley
Stadium. Some of them have played in the Champions League, few, and so would they be intimidated by ordinary, 60,000 or 40,000?
But you know the effects of the 12th man. That's
Exactly,
what
because even the match you pointed out when we started this conversation,
Yeah.
the AFCON final
Yes.
in Ivory Coast, it also contributed. Yes, because they found the Ivorians were everywhere in the
agree,
stadium,
but then again,
and Nigeria just had a very few, little space.
Again, you talk about the culture of these fans. In Ivory Coast, the Ivorian fans are quite calm
And they were friendly
and they are friendly.
compared
If
to
you go to North Africa,
No, it's actually
there is
else.
a culture. Yes, there's a culture those guys have.
They have to
Across
win.
the country,
They have to win.
across the
Yes,
countries in North Africa.
No, exactly.
So, of course, this is not.
At times,
to say-
even if they come here at the Uyo State, you see how they harass people as if
So,
they're even at home.
This is not to say our players will not be equal to the task.
Yes.
But then again, we're also
Even the
concerned because
psychological.
beautiful. We're also concerned because a lot of psychology will have to go into this. A lot of self-will will have to go into this. A lot of mentality will have to go into this. Of course, we wish our own Super Eagles well. Away from that,
Okay, now
Senegal.
Okay, no.
Yes, in one of the groups. I want to mention.
Okay,
you
because
see what the state
no,
is in the
no. I want us to just before you leave, please. On this group, apart from Nigeria and Tunisia, which other team do you think can come out of that?
Uganda. Uganda
Okay. Are
is
they
very
stronger
tough.
than Tunisia, Tanzania?
Of course, they have players plying their trade across the globe.
And the interesting
In big European teams,
I agree.
Benin Republic is coached by our own former coach, that's Egenod Raw,
Raw.
so that's going to be a tough one for them. But Senegal have become the first African nation to defeat England.
in unofficial match.
But
But no,
unofficial,
even official.
it's a history.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a history.
No,
It was a FIFA sanctioned
match. And also, let me also remind you that in 2002 World Cup,
Yes.
they also defeated France.
They did.
They were the first to defeat the defending champions.
Beautiful.
So Senegalese, they are used to.
So at this point,
breaking records.
are we already looking at potential champions in the AFCON? Senegal, given their impressive record. Egypt, of course, that's a North African side, and of course they have pedigree. We will also have to look at Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivorians, the current AFCON champions.
Holders.
Are this going to be the possible, maybe likely teams that could get all of the way to the finals?
Yes, what can I say? In football, we look at statistics, even though at times they say it does not matter. But we still have to look at it. In 2017, in 2019, in 2021, and in 2023 AFCON, Senegal, they've been consistent. So,
And there are players playing their trade across Europe.
and they have
Big
quality,
players.
big players,
Big
as you
players.
mentioned. So, if I'm a bookmaker saying that marking Senegal to win, you can put your money. Unlike Nigeria that is not consistent with our performance. Look at Côte d'Ivoire struggled to even qualify for the group. They had to wait for 3 days. Yes, to be sure that they will qualify for the quarterfinal.
Sometimes you ask if I'm doubting if I am a Nigerian or if I really support the Super Eagles. That's because currently as we speak, we are in a very tight situation in the World Cup qualifiers. So it's not yet to huru for us
at
there.
all.
This particular one, it looked like we had all of our wins.
Yes.
But
when it matters most, that's when they always misbehave.
When we gather this set of players, we have individual players who are doing very well. But when we gather them as a team, how do they play?
That's the point.
How do they play?
And that's why some people question their commitment to national duty. And also for me, I always question the technical crew.
You also spoke to Victor Boniface just before
we started the program.
You spoke to Victor Boniface having to retire prematurely from the Super Eagles camp. And I said it's because he has had a bit of
frustration. Yes.
Some level of frustration.
He has not been lucky at all. Yes, he has not. Because imagine a player that he was banging goals in Bayer Leverkusen back to back, week in, week out.
He still does.
And then
until maybe the injury.
Yes. And then coming to the Super Eagles, he has started some important matches, yet he could not score. And then even this last match against Russia, the guy had one flying head in. It can be frustrating. I understand, but for him to rush to the Twitter, though he's a content creator,
he's a social media
freak. But rushing to just announce his international team was not right. And that was why he has gone to apologize to his fellow players.
Well, I think it is up
in Lagos that it was.
For me, it is up to the coach to either accept or reject his retirement.
Sure.
We had Messi retire, I think.
No, but he actually deleted the tweets.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So
meaning that he was just maybe
frustrated. So we understand that sometimes it is up to the coaches, so the coaches will need to speak with him. And of course, the role of psychologists in the team.
Now, before you talk about psychologists in the team, you should even be congratulating me that my guy shined during the Unity Cup. But it's true.
Yeah, he scored goals
and performed very well. So some fans are even saying, no, don't even talk about Boniface. Let Boniface and relax. We have Osimhen, we have Cyril, nothing. We're okay. We're home and dry. So when you have Cyril doing very well, and then there's another guy also in that line.
Who? Tolu Arokodare.
Good. So we have 3 people already in number 9. Even though Tolu can play 8 or so, but we have 3 people that we are sure. So Boniface, whether he's done or not, bearing injuries, we may not even. But and then what you said about psychologists in the team is also very important. But I know they have psychologists in the team. But even it's just like what a coach once told me, that even if you spend years or days telling players what to play, when they get into you cannot go and play for them.
All right, very quickly, let's move away from that. That was about the biggest talking point, and that was why we had to dwell there. The FIFA Club World Cup is ongoing in the US. So far, we've had 2 groups play, and at the moment, that is what the Club World Cup groups look like. We have teams from across the world, from Africa, from Asia, from North America, from South America, from Europe, and of course from Oceania.